you know it, please feel free to sing along. يمام ويل الحوا يمام ويليا يمام ويل الحوا يمام ويليا ضرب الخناجر ولا حكم النابل فيا يمام ويل الحوا يمام ويليا يمام ويل الحوا يمام ويليا ضرب الخناجر ولا حكم النابل فيا ومشيت تحت الشتا والشتا رهواني والسيف لما اجا علم النيراني بيدل عمر فتى نرر للحرية يمام ويل الحوا يمام ويليا يمام ويل الحوا يمام ويليا ضرب الخناجر ولا حكم النابل فيا باروت بالجبل علم النيراني مفتاح درب الأمل والأمل برجالي يا شابنا يا بطل بسيك بعينا حياة يمام ويل الحوا يمام ويليا يمام ويل الحوا يمام ويليا ضرب الخناجر ولا حكم النابل فيا شكرا
Jamila and the other heroes, thank you so much, Felix Barth and Jamila Al-Youssef. I was overwhelmed by your music, so I forgot to get on stage. A warm welcome, Your Excellency Minister Schulze, our partner organization, Susanne from AWI, Agency for Economic Development, and yes, and all the OUISSAL participants, excellencies, guests, and friends of the EMA. I don't have to introduce myself. I am Clara Kotroy, Secretary General and co-founder of the EMA, and I am every year again pleased to have this gathering with you. And today I will not be only the host and moderator. I have also a companion with me. We know each other for 4 years, and we have met yesterday for the first time. Yumna Naufal, please join me on stage.
Let's try to make this work. Yeah, maybe you talk here. Let me try to do this right. Guten Tag. Bon après-midi. Masa el khair. Did we cover it all? I think so. Let me just say, well, thank you, Clara, and it's an honor to be standing among such inspiring a group of women from Europe and the Middle East. I think what's really important, and when we think about OUISSAL, is how women today are coming together to advance the cause of gender equality, but also transformative change. And it's important to acknowledge that we're gathering here today under the weight of profoundly challenging circumstances. Our hearts are heavy as we witness the conflict threatening to engulf the entire region in the Middle East. For many of us, these crises are not just headlines. They represent personal loss, but also an overwhelming uncertainty about where we go from here. And what this means is in times like these, the work that we're doing, the work that you're doing with this forum, is not just important, it's necessary. The lives and futures of so many are at stake. And we must ask ourselves, as women, as leaders, as change makers, how do we come together to face these kinds of challenges? And I think what's important, and OUISSAL reminded me of this, community, mentorship, relationships are important tools in the face of adversity. So thank you all for being here, because just by being here, you are part of this OUISSAL program, which is the whole purpose. Thank you.
So now that you know the two of us who will co-host today our panels, I would like still to ask you, Minister, for some patience, because we have prepared a film, because OUISSAL is not only a forum, it's also a journey. And we have made a film to document a little bit what the last year has been about. But before we start the film, I would highlight again that we have 10 countries around of the Mediterranean, even more, present today. And this is just a great achievement. I want to thank a lot our Federal Foreign Office and all of the authorities that have been involved, the EMA team as well, and our participants for the patience of getting the visa. Not all of you could make it. We have a live stream today, so I don't know where the camera is, but please, a warm welcome also to everyone who could not make it. We miss you, but we will see each other again anytime soon, inshallah. So let's have a great time together. We won't talk any longer about OUISSAL because I think the film explains a lot. And right after the film, Your Excellency, you may just come and give your empowerment keynote. Thank you.
OUISSAL is a unique cross-cultural mentoring program. We developed OUISSAL more than 10 years ago. Today, OUISSAL is running in more than 10 countries and hosting more than 100 women in our current cohort. This program is really special to me because we bring together very different women of diverse economic and also social backgrounds. So for more than a year, mentoring teams are working together to bring forward very concrete steps, be it entering international markets, having leadership strategy, self-leadership, team management, fundraising. So there's very different aspects they may work on. And this is really something that is very helpful for our participants so that they have the scope and they can really work on the management and also building up their company. We put a lot of effort into the selection process of our mentoring teams because it is very important that we find a perfect match, that the mentor can really assist the mentee in something she needs or she does not even know yet that she would need. Usually we meet in our partner countries with all the mentors and mentees in order to work together for a week. It is important that every cohort gets to know each other in person and that really the milestones for the mentoring year can be elaborated together in the group, but especially in the tandem.
OUISSAL means bridge in Arab, and that's what we pretend to do with this program, is create a platform for German and business women from the MENA region to be able to learn from each other, set up networks and build together business models. We think that this program can really contribute to get more visibility for women and their economic participation.
For me, the OUISSAL program has been particularly helpful at first in my business strategy and the planning. Also, it provided support in developing my leadership skills and building a strong team. Since joining this mentoring program, I have expanded the market reach. I also developed 5 new products based on market insights and feedback from my mentor, Anissa.
I think the OUISSAL program helped Hafsa to gain more confidence. Being there to support her, to provide her with guidance during critical moments was a game changer.
Mentoring programs like OUISSAL are crucial for women's empowerment.
The OUISSAL program has been invaluable to me during this transitional phase. moving from running a sole-owned factory to establish and lead larger one as a chairwoman with the new challenges and responsibility make it an essential to have experienced mentor to help me navigate these new responsibilities and challenges.
The Develop program OUISSAL gives a base and room to maneuver to the desired mentoring, which is very conducive to the benefits of mentoring.
OUISSAL program has been a transformative experience for me, both professionally and especially personally. OUISSAL program expanded my network, provided me with valuable insights, and helped me to grow as an entrepreneur. OUISSAL program has been a game changer for me.
Programs like OUISSAL can make the difference in one's journey as an entrepreneur.
Since joining the OUISSAL program, we have made 3 major achievements. First, I received the Women in Africa First Award. Second, our focus has shifted from primarily serving large enterprises to empowering small businesses. Third, we successfully launched our platform, جاهز, an Arabic language educational platform. Programs like OUISSAL are important for women's empowerment because networking is a key factor in business success.
I am a mentee in the OUISSAL program. My company is specialized in linen and workwear for the medical and the paramedical as well.
Hello, my name is high-calibre. I am based in Stuttgart, Germany. Ismahen already had a successful business which she wanted to consolidate and expand. What I'm especially proud of for Ismahen is that all her hard work paid off and she was awarded the 3rd place for the most successful women's startup business of the year in Africa in 2024.
Well, we really hope to continue supporting OUISSAL and the whole network that is coming up with the women entrepreneurs from the program. And hopefully they will be able to maintain this network even without our support, because it's really important for them and helps them to succeed, even beyond OUISSAL itself. Well, this program is really a big window opportunity, and I can only invite all the participants to make use of it and really give the best of them and their personality, bring in their experience and their perspective to make this work.
OUISSAL is not only one conference or one meeting, it is really a long-term relationship between the mentors and mentees and also between the participants all themselves. It is very special also that all of the mentoring tandems and participants are joining us in Berlin in the end of the mentoring year because they do not know each other yet. So women from Morocco, from Algeria, Tunisia, from Libya, from Egypt, from Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, Germany and other European countries are coming to Berlin in order to work together in a very intensive workshop format, but also to celebrate and to hosting a conference where we can show to the political stakeholders in Berlin, to our partners and all our interested members, what is the success of OUISSAL about. Thanks to the funding of the Ministry BMZ and our partnership with RWE, we can host OUISSAL this year in more than 10 countries around the Mediterranean.
I am part of OUISSAL.
I'm also part of OUISSAL.
I am part of OUISSAL.
I'm also a part of OUISSAL.
I'm part of OUISSAL.
I'm also part of OUISSAL.
I am part of OUISSAL.
Greek mythology, and mentor is the counselor of Telemachus, that is the son of Odysseus. And however, he's only a man at the first glance. Behind him is Athena, who has taken on his form. So Athena, the goddess of wisdom, who is said to be intelligent, practical, and prudent, and traits with each and every one of you has demonstrated as a participant in the OUISSAL mentoring program, like the tandem of Anissa Ghanem and Hafsa Anab. Anissa lives in Germany. Her parents are Moroccan. Hafsa lives in Morocco and has a company, BioLife. You find her here in the small room here. And BioLife transform olive waste into cosmetic products and food supplements. And together with the digital marketing specialist Anissa, she enhanced her business strategy and leadership skills. Hafsa's company has developed and is now selling 5 new products and has found new customers. And the 2 women have built a relationship that Anissa describes as spirit partnership. Such a partnership does not end after a year. It is a lasting connection. And there is the tandem of Rasha Alet from Jordan, and I look forward to being on the panel with her later on, and Kirsten Seuke from Germany. Rasha, a former small-scale entrepreneur, sought Kirsten's support because she wanted to take a leadership position in a bigger organization. And finally, Alexandra Lange from Germany, who has accompanied last year by Nadia El Shafai from Egypt. From her position as the technical manager at ThyssenKrupp, Alexandra applied for a leadership role in the same company and landing the job really successfully. And Nadia, co-founder and managing partner of an international consultancy, played a key role on this. First, she helped Alexandra prepare for the interview at the assessment center, and then she supported her in navigating the new position. These are just 3 examples that show how diverse the tandems are. Many other impressive mentors and mentees with success stories are here today, and they will have the opportunity to share their stories and forge new contacts. And the examples are also a demonstration of what makes good development cooperation. It is about solidarity and about both sides benefiting. And above all, the cooperation is strengthening women. And this is such an important objective Germany is pursuing through a feminist development policy. Now, what is that all about? No country in the world has achieved full equality of men and women, including Germany. And women make up half of our humanity. So it is logical and fair that they should have the power and the resources, should have half of the power and half of the resources. However, the international community is still a long way from achieving that. But no society can afford not to use the potential of half of its population if it wants to be successful. If women have equal rights and equal resources, then there is less poverty, less hunger, and more stability in the world, and achieving gender equality is the gain for societies as a whole. Feminist development policy offers ways of tackling the problems of discrimination and oppression, and it places women at the center in their important role as knowledge bearers and decision makers. This is also about strengthening women in the private sector. And this is not just the right thing to do from a moral standpoint. It is smart in terms of economics and strategy. Studies show that companies that promote diversity on their boards tend to be more innovative and successful. Women bring unique perspectives and skills to the business world and promote creative solutions and new approaches. According to the World Bank, global growth rates could double in the next 10 years if women had equal rights and opportunities in employment and entrepreneurship. Doubling. However, Enormous economic potentials lie dormant because worldwide, even today, women disproportionately work in informal and low-paid jobs. The OUISSAL mentoring program shows us how we can follow words with deeds. We, that is the Euro-Mediterranean Arab Association, the Agency for Business and Economic Development, and the German Development Ministry, and last but not least, you, the mentors and mentees. You make sure that women take a strong position in the business world. That is good for each and every one of you. And this is good because it fosters more just societies. And that is what my ministry decided to continue to support OUISSAL in 2025 and 2026. You all know that already, but I want to stress it once more, that women in top leadership positions and successful women entrepreneurs are role models for the next generation. They inspire, and you inspire, young girls and other women to choose their own professional paths and be open for all sectors. And this is the way to break gender stereotypes and drive long-term change. And this is what inspired me to launch the hashtag #WeTheWomen campaign last year. The aim of this campaign is to encourage women and girls to be role models and leaders and to make their achievements visible and to celebrate a culture of sisterhood that recognizes the achievements of women who came before us and reminds us to pave the way for the young women who will come after us. And I invite you all to join the campaign and use the hashtag #WeTheWomen. OUISSAL, in Arabic the word means connections, or sometimes also honey. So that is precisely what this mentoring program does, and all of you are doing. Connecting with others to strengthen one another and the world. And today's Women Forums mark the end of a stage, but it is a moment but it is not the moment where you cut links, we just see that in the film. Much rather, let us stay in touch as women who fight to ensure that women and girls worldwide are given the opportunities and the resources they deserve, and that they can contribute for economic and social progress. And thank you very, very much for your committed work, and thank you for all your engagement. Thank you very much.
So, our famous picture we are going to take, we will do it after a discussion round. Please, thank you so much. You made my day, and I'm just, I mean, I already apprehended it a little bit. But I feel a big relief and a lot of energizing spirits here for all of us. Now I would like...
And I thought that was the job description for this speech.
Now I would like also to invite 3 participants of OUISSAL on stage. One of you is Marlies Jahnke. Marlies has been... Marlene, you have been, just let's stay close to each other. You have been a mentor in several OUISSAL editions already, and last year you joined our first edition in Algeria, so you are also a very active entrepreneur. You have experience in influencer marketing. You have launched the Equalizer podcast and supporting a lot also of German and Arab startups. So we are looking forward to having your experience today.
Thank you.
Next one will be a Dr. Rasha Alaid. We know her already from the video, coming from Jordan and being really a very great entrepreneur that has made a big journey in the last year, working together with Kirsten Seuke, Dr. Kirsten Seuke, who's also present today. We are looking forward to your insights of your OUISSAL experience. And last but not least, we have Reem Razal, a mentee from Egypt. Reem, you are the co-founder of Vitaly, and it's a platform bringing together artificial intelligence, working in the food security area, and many more. So I'm also happy to have you on stage. We are not really, having a lot of time, so I may not ask all the questions that I would have, but Minister, if you allow, we will allow the ladies first to give just 1-2 key elements that the OUISSAL journey and that also your company journey has been about in the last year, so that we can engage in a small discussion. Yes, so.
I think the experience, I think the experience here in OUISSAL program was quite unique when comparing it to other mentorship programs. Because it is not just a learning exchange, but it was rather than a knowledge transfer between 2 different generations. It has provided us with a totally new perspective on how to look to new opportunities and new challenges. I was just calling it as a catalyst of rethinking. Yes, a new catalyst of rethinking on how to consider things. Because of course, our mentors had a lot of experience when compared to ours as young entrepreneurs. So the matchmaking that OUISSAL have made was perfect in my case with my mentor Martina. She was really open-minded when I was working with her, and I came from a medical background and a technology background, so I think people here can relate that in business you either have a technical background or business background, and it is difficult to combine both. But with Martina, with her business background...
Martina, please step up.
Yeah. Thank you, Martina.
And Martina, please don't be mad at me, but I will just tell something that I experienced when we were in Egypt together last winter. One evening you said, I really am a hard-working manager. I won't say the company, but you were in a top leading position, and you said, my mentee is making me a headache. I really have to think so much because it's such a challenge, and this is also what OUISSAL is about. It's learning and growing on both sides.
A headache in a good way, right? Yeah, so I was just getting to know the importance of co-creation and speak to different stakeholders to make my product not only I manage a product, but to manage a customer-oriented product. I think this has changed my perspective on how to look to things, not only to be too technical, and the product doesn't mean to make technology, but means to speak to stakeholders who are involved in this technology.
I started my business 15 years ago as a sole business. I am a mother of 3, pharmacist with little experience in pharmaceutical industry. So I started with 1 employee, me alone, in a very small workshop. Now, after 15 years, we are more than 40 ladies working in the same factory and exporting to more than 16 different countries. And thank you. So after these years, I successfully have make a partnership with one of the biggest investors in Jordan to establish a pharmaceutical derma factory, which will be one of the biggest in the Middle East. But the problem was that my mentality and way of working, that it was a sole one who's responsible about everything. I wake up at 6 o'clock, I go to my factory, and I'm responsible about every details in it. But now, when I want to shift my mentality to deal with such a big investment and work as a chairwoman, which is really very unique and nothing like this in our country, in Jordan. We don't have any chairwoman. Maybe I'm one of the few there. So by the help of OUISSAL in such a very, very critical and really weird time in my life, I find OUISSAL, and they match me perfectly with Kristen and Dr. Kristen, and she was really my sister. She was really working just like every week at Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, she will send me a message, Rasha, I'm waiting. Yalla, yalla. We have to make our, and always at Wednesday, I will just sit down and what I tell her, what did I do through this week? We must have an input to tell. So she was really, really very helpful through this journey, and I'm really appreciate everything that OUISSAL had given to me and to, thank you, Kristen, for everything. Thank you. You're the best. Thank you.
Such a great journey, and I remember when I met you for the first time, I thought, what is it that this woman, this strong entrepreneur, still can learn from the program? And it's just also, OUISSAL is not only about having a business idea and bringing it to birth, it's a lot of this, but it's also empowering existing companies to scale up, having really even, better and more employees and growing to really have a meaningful impact. And I think it's this mix that we have, not only in the regional cooperation, but also in the cross-sector and different levels of companies that really makes OUISSAL
really, especially in our region, in the developing country, we don't have that much experience and that much local mentor that could help you. You are really have a great stories, and you have a history of women empowerment that you could help us with it. It's not the idea of being successful and it's for you. I'm look successful, but really I'm in need for help. Everyone is in need for help. But the idea that we were discuss every details together, she can give me where I have to work more, when I have to say no, how strong I must be, and this really become more and more in love with the German character, woman character, and I'm becoming more and more aggressive, which is really, really very helpful in my work. Yes.
Well, I'm a mentor and I'm a participant, but I'd rather say I'm a fan of OUISSAL. And it makes me very, very happy. Thank you for having me, and thank you very much that we will continue the program. And my mentee, Siham, well, makes me a little sad. She can't be here due to visa problems, but I know she sits in Algeria in front of her computer. Hi, Siham! And it is not only inspiring for the mentees, it's also a program very inspiring for the mentors. And I must say, I guess I have learned as much as Siham has learned from me. It was a perfect match, as I'm a digital entrepreneur and I started a platform, well, back a few years and could sell it. And I do remember that when I founded my first company, I was 30 years old, Siham is 28. So I really feel with her, and she's starting a platform for educational and social impact for engineers. And it was very, very much fun working with her. And it was inspiring to see how much work and how hard she's working. and how big her vision is. I think this is what's really inspiring me too. So thank you very much. It's really, really, not only the tandem is a great exchange, but the network as well, of course.
Would you directly like to react, or should I ask one of the questions?
I would like to directly react, because I think it is inspiring to see how that networking works. It is about mentees and mentors, but it is also about building a network, an international network between women. And I think that is needed. We see that women make all the same experience. There are ceilings, and we can't break through these ceilings. But when we work together, when we have strong networks, when we support each other, we are able to break to these ceilings. And that is what networking is about. You build a relationship between each other. And this relationship, I hope, gets longer than this OUISSAL program. And that means when you are both on the international level and work together, then you can say, oh, I know a company that is really, really good, and that is in that field that you need. And I don't know how you feel that, but I'm often part of panels that are male panels. And when I ask why are only men here, and I should be the only women, then the answer is often, there is no other women. And I hate that. I know for every topic of the world, a woman you can ask to that. And if you are able to have such networks and no other woman, other entrepreneurs, others who are in a field that is interesting, I think that is a benefit for you, for the societies, and for the whole economy. So I'm really happy that we are able to fund that.
Yeah, we know from research that the women still have weaker networks than men, so this is an excellent example. And for me, OUISSAL has always been kind of a safe place where we can really exchange and, to be honest, maybe learn a little networking, because we all, it's crystal clear that we have to go out and be confident in diverse networks. So I think that OUISSAL is an excellent place, a safe place where we can exchange and inspire each other.
Thank you. I think we are running out a little bit of time because we have new pictures to make for the next edition for our website and also for our good memories. So if there's anything more that has not been said yet, we will discuss it later on, because we have really great other panels and speakers. Now let's get up. I will explain a little bit how it goes. This section remains seated. This OUISSAL section is going to step up, please, and come here. And then I would like you to take the lead. And everyone else, some patience, please, but this is really necessary for our documentation. We will then, right after, continue with our panel 2. Yumna, you are ready, right? Perfect.
Okay. So while you're still enjoying taking some more pictures with the minister, we will play a song for you, which is the first song I ever dared to write in Arabic, speaking of empowerment. And it's a feminist lullaby called Farashat.
يا بنات حارتنا يا بتحب الدنيا يا خلينا سوا هيك احنا قوايا يا بنات حارتنا يا بتحب الدنيا يا خلينا سوا هيك احنا قوايا يا بتحب الدنيا يا خلينا سوا هيك احنا قوايا يا بنات حارتنا يا بتحب الدنيا يا خلينا سوا هيك احنا قوايا.
This was our song Farashat, which means butterflies. And it's inspired by a Palestinian child song, and it's about the girls to unite, to love the word, to stick together, because that's how we're strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamila. I'd like to introduce our next keynote speaker, the Commissioner of the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action for the Digital Economy and Startups, Dr. Anna Chrisman. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all. A room full of almost only women, but not only women. That's also very important because we always need to come together from all different perspectives to achieve the best for everyone. So I'm really happy to be here, and I thank you very much for the invitation to the 6th German Arab Women's Forum. I'm sure you are like a community. For me, it's the first time in this forum, so I'm really happy also to see how it's going and learn a little bit today. And of course, I would especially like to thank Ms. Grütroy for organizing everything and for this opportunity to meet all you, because I'm really interested in also the discussions that we will have later on, because I think here are really important perspectives from different parts coming together here in this forum. And therefore, I am really delighted to speak to you, an important group of professional, enthusiastic, and active women from the MENA region and Germany. And I think this is really an inspiring group. And of course, increasing the role of women in business and transregional business learning are important objects of also for my ministry. I'm from the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Action. And of course, there we have a huge focus also on the question to strengthen women in this environment. And therefore, we launched the initiative to support self-employed women and women wanting to set up in business. To really get a quick start on that, we held a conference on this topic with 200 representatives from the government, businesses, associations, and networks already in September 2022, so in the beginning of this electoral period, to really start an initiative and lots of dynamics to strengthen women in these networks. And this support is very important to us because a large number of companies will be handed on to the next generation in the near future. The family and business startup phases are overlapping and should be, of course, more compatible. And then I think one of the most important reasons, mixed teams tend to enjoy commercial success and they are more innovative. That there are many studies that show us if you come together as a mixed group, women and men, you have lots of more success, be it funding a company or having a research project or whatever. Mixed teams are more successful. And it's the women that often bring the new ideas, perspectives, and they tend to set up businesses that are often also of extreme high value for the society. Women tend a little bit more to, for example, found companies in social sectors or also that have a focus on sustainability. That's also what we can see. So there we see more different sectors where women can be found than when there are only the men. And based on the conclusions of the conference in 2022, we launched an action plan, More Women Entrepreneurs for Our SMEs. And together with other ministries, business associations, women entrepreneurs networks, financing and research institutes, we work on achieving 4 important objectives. The first one is mobilize venture capital and support for women to start and grow their businesses. And as I'm also the commissioner for startups and scale-ups, I'm really happy to see this action item because it's very important when you look at how much is invested when it comes to money in female-funded companies. It's just a tiny bit of the total sum, at least in Germany, and I imagine it's worldwide not that much better. So we see 8 to 9% of venture capital going to female-funded companies. So there is a huge gap, and therefore we have some concrete actions already in this sector. For example, we now have an instrument that invests into emerging managers who do their first-time fund to invest into startups and scale-ups and so on. And there we focus specifically on diverse groups who found this new funds, women, but also with a diverse background, migrant background, so really to diversify also this financial sector. That is a huge goal for us. But this is only the first of these 4 important objects. The second one is to improve the framework conditions for women entrepreneurs, such as the compatibility of business and family responsibilities. Therefore, we have also the family ministry with us in showing how we can make sure that we have enough childcare and all the other things. They are also important for the men, I'd like to say, but still more for the women when we look at the numbers. And the third one is highlighting the achievements of women entrepreneurs with and without a migrant background in SMEs, skilled crafts, and startups. And the fourth one is attracting more women and girls into STEM. And I think there we also see really a huge potential. We need so many people and talents with excellent skills, maybe in IT, computing, math, biotech, whatever, and we need more women in these fields. That's what we see everywhere, also engineers that are needed really in the different companies. So we defined really lots of targets linked to these 4 objectives. I mentioned already one with on the financing sector, and an example for the family sector, but also for starting new businesses and startups. I would like to mention a new migrant accelerator that we also have, which is a new network that we set up to especially support not only women, but different groups of people with a migrant background to start their own business, because of course there can be other questions sometimes than compared to people who are already here for a very long time. So this is also one important one. And in consultations with all the networks that we are working together, we develop better conditions to make, as I said, family and career more competitive. And the business association lobby in the media for more visibility for women entrepreneurs and their success stories. And they also organize visits of female entrepreneurs to go into schools and kindergartens. And I think that is really also a very important project, because we know how important role models are. And we really have there now a group of successful women who are right in the middle of their business, going into schools, showing the kids there how a successful woman looks like. And I think that is important as well, isn't it? So, as I said, as a commissioner for the digital economy and startups, you also asked me to report a little bit on that point more. And of course, one of my major responsibilities is to push forward the implementation of the startup strategy in Germany. That's the first strategy of that kind that we have. So a federal strategy, how we can support startups best to really not only start here, but also to grow here. And that's sometimes the even more difficult part, because we need the capital here also to make this possible. And our startup strategy is really comprehensive. It has 130 measures. I won't tell you about every one of them, but I can say after now a little bit more than 2 years, we accomplished 80% of these measures. So I think that is a nice statistics. And of course, we also have many measures connected to especially female founders in this strategy. And there also we have a way to go, because up to now we have only 20% female founders. The rest is male. And there is a stagnation. That's really the not nice message, because we just had the report this year, the new startup monitor, and it says it's now even going down to 19%. We had 20 in the last year. like we had a slow increase over the last years, but this year it drops down a little bit. So there is still a lot of work to do to really make it happen, to have more female entrepreneurs and female founders. And you see that for us, working on female empowerment is a very relevant topic up to the highest political level. And we showed that also with our Startup Germany summit that we just had with Minister Habeck, and also the Chancellor was there. So we really told the story why it's important to have startups in Germany and why Germany is a good place to start a company. And of course, I would be interested in hearing from you about your experience also in your region, because that is, I think, the forum here about to exchange perspectives. You are representing very important and interesting countries in the MENA region with which Germany has close economic ties. And we are important trade partners with an annual trading volume of over 70 billion euros. And economic cooperation between our countries include manufacturing industries, energy, ICT infrastructures, and transition to renewable energy, which is, as you know, a high priority for Germany, as well as the diversification into sectors such as a knowledge economy, to name just a few. And German companies are interested in qualified and skilled workforce. They seem to be welcome as investors, as they don't just create new jobs, but also invest in training and upskilling their employees. So, in light of our long and intensive relationships, it is no surprise that we are holding bilateral joint economic commissions with the MENA countries for almost 50 years now. So I think that is really a long tradition already. And these commissions bring together representatives from government and private sector in Germany and the partner country in order to deepen economic relations. And moreover, there are energy or hydrogen partnerships and dialogues between my ministry and 10 countries in the MENA region. I also want to mention these because we are also investing a lot in hydrogen infrastructure now in Germany, but I think partnerships on these technologies to profit from the innovation that is going on in all the different regions is highly appreciated and is a profit just for both sides. And the region is, how important the region is to us, I think shows also that our Minister and Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck already visited some countries of the region. He visited Jordan and went twice to the Palestinian territories and Israel. He also visited the UAE and Qatar and many more. I don't want to name also Oman, Saudi Arabia, Algeria. So really a lot of trips that show, I think, how important the region is to him. And the eagerness of our top business representatives to accompany the minister in the region is impressive. We often see over 100 high-ranking applications from all the sectors to go there together with the minister, so there you can see that there is really also high interest in the region from the companies. And the ministry also works on formats comprising the whole MENA region. Last month, we organized the MENA Europe Future Energy Dialogue, a big conference focusing on connecting the MENA region and Europe in the energy field. So I think that gives you an overview how important the region is to us, but also how important business collaboration is for us, and how important the role of women is in these networks around business, around politics, around all the companies that and the innovation that is going on in these parts. So I'm really very happy to be here with all of you and exchange further on these topics, because also for me personally, it's really good to see so many really engaged and professional women in such a network, because I think these are the opportunities not only for Germany and for your region, but in the end for the whole world, because this kind of collaboration is where innovation and where future comes from in the end. And so happy to see that this is happening here right now, and I'm really looking forward to discuss this a little bit further. Thank you a lot, and looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you for that. I think what's very, very interesting before we start our second panel, which is called Socio-Ecological Transformation and Just Transition, is that Dr. Anna, you said, there was more work to do. We need more female founders. We need more women in STEM. I think it's going to be very interesting to hear a little bit about how do we get that. But before we start this discussion, I want to introduce our fellow speakers. And Clara, please, let's take the stage. We'll be co-moderating this. We have about 25 minutes, and then we do want to open the floor for a few questions. So, without further ado, let's introduce our fellow speakers. Dr. Nadia Al-Shaf'i, Managing Partner and Co-Founder, RNS Management Consultancy Company. Welcome to the stage. Fela Bouti from Algeria, CEO of Eco Tashira. Please stay. And Iqbal Kaouchi from Tunisia, product owner of Commune. Thank you all for being here. Commissioner, if you don't mind, I just want to start with our fellow mentor, Dr. Nadia. Thank you for being here. It's really interesting when we talk about socio-ecological transformation and just transition. We heard the commissioner talk about how we need more female founders and we need more women to step up in these male-dominated industries. In your experience, and especially as a mentor, how have you helped your mentee in perhaps male-dominated industries? What has stood out for you?
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me for such a great opportunity. Before commenting on your questions, I would like to highlight the importance of taking care of reconnect nature with the community. And this is a big umbrella that really would like to focus on. Luckily, my mentee was working in industry, and she's an engineer, and I can have the opportunity to implement all the new trends and philosophy to encourage her that to step forward for a leadership position, not only leadership position, also entrepreneur, and she was focusing on two objectives, being an entrepreneur and to get a leadership position.
Let's hear from our mentees as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with OUISSAL? Thank you, Fela.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me in this event and in the program. About me, it was really a transformative experience because I was in the beginning of my journey with entrepreneurship. I came in from an academic background, doing an industrial activity in a rural region, so it was really challenging.
How did you overcome that? How did you overcome those challenges?
Oh, exactly. When I met my mentor, it was like, how can someone work only for me and for my business? It was an opportunity. And when we met, me with Maya, we set up some goals to work on the business in certain, yeah, exactly. But like marketing and HR, but also on my personal skills and competence. She is always pushing me out of my comfort zone, especially before meeting her, I couldn't be able to accept such opportunity to be a panelist. No. Thank you. Thanks, Maya. And Also, I get recommendation from other mentors to participate in exhibition in Arabia Saudi. Thanks Heike and Pamela also. So I get also access to another resources, to all the network of these inspiring women. I have a lot of role models from them, especially those who face similar challenges. So I'm going forward through their support. Thank you.
Yes. Iqbal, Iqbal, I think what's interesting when we look at the title of this panel is, you are a product owner in the digital and tech industry. And it's often, as we heard the commissioner say, it's often male-dominated industries. So how have you faced your challenges, and how have you advanced your career in this specific industry? And what skills do you think you picked up from your mentor or just in the experience in general?
Thank you. So I worked with Martina Pancella, my mentor, for a year with OUISSAL, and I was there as a leader in Commune. So I wasn't really the founder of the startup, but I watched it grow for almost 3 years. And I was, at the beginning, one of the 2 female employees in the company. And I found many challenges working with men, and also customers who are usually men. And one of the challenges that I had is leading those men. So when I did my mentorship program with Martina, so we talked a lot about it, about my experience trying to share my thoughts, trying to implement the things that I believe are important for the business. And she inspired me to how to speak my mind, how to construct my ideas, how to perhaps share them in a room full of men. And it was really insightful and encouraging.
And successful.
Yes, it is successful. Especially in this last year, I participated and led many projects, either in technology, in product, or also in operations. So it was really empowering.
Wow. Yamla.
Just maybe it's important to highlight again that you are from Tunisia, you are from Algeria, you come from Egypt, and we have 10 countries around the Mediterranean present today, and also all of your mentors or mentees are in the room. Maybe you can just stand up so that Mrs. Crispin can also see who you are and who has been working so hard. Yeah, exactly. So thank you.
Thank you for that. Commissioner, Germany is at the forefront of addressing climate change and digital transformation. How do you envision fostering greater inclusion of women in these sectors?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I mean, these sectors really need talent and people, as I mentioned. We really need the people made really in the research part, maybe on the business side, maybe in the companies where you actually have to build something that you need for the energy transition. So to bring their women is just needed because we don't have enough people who make it otherwise. And also the innovation part is really relevant, and there's also the link not only to the women but also to startups in general, because we see from the startups founded in Germany, 1/3 as focused on green products. So any products that will help having less emissions, CO2, etc. It's 1/3 of the startups without any political guidance. It's just their own decision. People who found a company in Germany have a huge focus on green topics, and the women even a little bit more than the men. That's an interesting fact. So that's why it's so interesting and so important to support women, not only because it's important because we need the same chances for everyone, of course, and the same opportunities, but also because we really need these talents. And maybe I can mention one more program that I haven't mentioned before, because we see a little bit what also you described. Women sometimes doubt a little bit more before they start. Men often say, okay, tell me what to do, I can do everything. Women always often think a little bit more about what are your own competences, what you might need to learn to have a specific career. And that's why we started the program Exist Women, which is a stipend and a network program focused especially on women at universities that think about maybe they might want to found a company, but then giving them the information, the network, the people to learn, okay, what do I need to really make this step and found a company? And then they are more confident to really be a female founder in the end. And then it shows, because they are doing more before they start, then they are more successful, because they just start when they really have everything to do it. So then they are really, we see lots of female founders who really have then a long-standing company, which is then nice in the end.
No, that's pretty amazing. It's interesting you mentioned that, the confidence issue, because I was once reading that women don't get the raises they deserve because they're not as upfront about it as men because of this doubt. And this, you know, Dr. Nadia, I want you to comment a little bit on what the commissioner said, you know, because you're a mentor, you're a consultant. How do you see women's leadership evolving in these sectors as well? You know, from the Arabic perspective, which is similar, by the way.
To be very frankly, not only MENA or Arabic, we are in a global market. So when we talk, we have to talk in a global sense. There is a certain restriction for women to a certain type of a job. It could be from history, from parents, and etc. But this is one of the agenda, crucial agenda for management, for leaders, for everyone from the hierarchy in the country, that we should find tools, ways to start playing on the mindset for the woman, that there is an opportunity for a certain sectors have not been invaded yet, or a little number is invading this. So we need mindset. Then this type of a job, it needs in working environment differently for a woman. We need to respect that, like childcare, Your Excellency has hit it in your speech. It's very important when the women work in such type of job and find the care and the respect for the condition. This is encourage her and motivate her. All over, we have to realize that technical skills, it is not anymore the requirement. You have to develop the soft skills and the entrepreneur leadership skills. So what I see we should focus on, we make a program, it's a journey. Focus on a few skills in order to have a result and find women courage that they can invade that different field. This is a specific for a certain type of a field which is not encouraged by women. But in general, women needs a lot of support, leadership development, consultation, coaching, mentoring program. It is nowadays has been invented. It was not before. Why? Why we have not think why we are talking about mentor? Is it a fashion? No. It is political, economic, management requirement, because competition, the market is global. Competition is very high. And I cannot wait 25 years in order to invent one molecule in pharmaceutical, for example. I need that to utilize the talent of the people. But this is why I need to encourage people to start up micro and learn, let them feel that In order to grow, it is a group diversification with different skills, and then we will have the innovation. So innovation comes from that type of process. I hope that I addressed your needs.
I think so.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's interesting. There's a pattern here about soft skills, leadership, confidence, and especially in these kinds of industry. I want to ask you, Dr. Fella, given your experience in leading an eco-focused company, what strategies do you believe are essential for women entrepreneurs to thrive within this transition?
About my experience.
You can speak in French.
Okay. Maybe it's better, but bon. Concernant mon projet, j'ai. Okay. No problem. Ok. Bon, concernant notre projet, on a déjà réussi à faire un changement socio-économique dans la communauté rurale parce qu'on a déjà on paye pour acheter des résidus agricoles de la région pour fabriquer des murs végétaux. C'est déjà une source outcome, d'argent supplémentaire pour les agriculteurs de la communauté. Alors, dès qu'ils ont vu que c'est important, ça donne de l'argent, ils ont commencé à croire à l'idée et à accepter une nouvelle technique.
They didn't accept before? They didn't accept this before?
No. It was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You are just doing something in real.
Yeah.
So, dès qu'on a commencé à acheter ces ressources, ces matériaux, ils ont accepté le projet, ils ont accepté qu'il y a une femme qui a fait un changement dans la communauté. Personne ne brûle les résidus de palmiers dattiers après ça, dans la région en moins. On a commandé toute la quantité des résidus. Et c'est ça le langage qu'il accepte.
Yeah.
Dès qu'il y a une source d'argent.
So just to summarize really quickly what Dr. Fella was saying, which is really interesting, is because she works in agronomic sciences, and it was very easy to convince the rural populations where she was working that this was actually a success, because when they started generating income and money, I think the world of men, is what she was trying to say, was more accepting that a woman was leading this kind of change. So actually, a round of applause of how difficult it is, especially when we're talking about these kinds of sectors, to implement change and get the respect that we deserve for such initiatives. So thank you for sharing that.
I would just like to add, I don't know the word in English properly, but at least to give you an overview, you stem from a really rural area in Algeria, I think, and you have just this idea to bring to Algeria for the first time the whole concept of Schwammstadt and Fassadenbegrünung. Okay, I say it now in German. It's such a hot topic here in Germany for diminishing our CO2 emissions, and you are the one bringing it to Algeria, and it's just really great.
Iqbal, what role can women entrepreneurs play in leading innovations? You know, your experience is in software product management. And how can we ensure their active participation in the digital transition?
Okay, so women have to get confidence in themselves. Basically, that's the purpose of OUISSAL, to build a network of knowledgeable women, to show the other women, the other girls, that they are capable and they can build things that they want and they can vision a better future. So also hardworking for women, no matter what people say, women or men, think of what your objectives, your goals, what you believe in, and you will make it.
I just, Dr. Kriesman, you've heard all these different women talking about their own experience. How can government initiatives in Germany support women-led startups? Because I know startups has a special place for you, especially in these critical fields. Let's talk a little bit about startups.
Yeah, I mentioned already like a few of our programs, which I think, to repeat, what is very important is you need it on the side of the founders. You need the support. What we do with this Exist Women program, for example, also with a migrant accelerator a little bit, which is run by a woman, by the way. And then you also need the support on the financing side, which is very important because we see it's so difficult often as a founder when you go then to VC capital people. Often you sit in a room with only men. And we see that men tend to invest more in people that are more similar to themselves, which are not often women. And that's why we also have strong networks, for example, with women-led VC groups. There's a strong network in Germany which is called Encourage Ventures, where there are many women that work together and invest in startups. They only invest in mixed teams, for example. That is very important. And we do this, of course, in our own financial instruments that we have. So we have some public-run funds, and there we always have a mixed team that runs the fund. We always have women in important positions where the decisions are made, and we have statistics how it works. And also we see in some fields there are really the numbers, and when you have more women on this partner level that is decisive, you see more companies with women in leadership that get funded by them. So there's really a direct link. So I would really say that this is a major part of supporting women in startups is the financing part. And therefore, I think now we are building really a network of female founders. That is also important because out of this Exist Women program, we have every year new generations then of female founders, and they know each other, they can do their network, and that is also important because then they are also just a relevant group that can then work for their goals that are important, that can address politics and so on. So I think these programs are very important, and yeah, we introduced now several of them just during these last years to really get this push that we need so urgently.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And it's interesting because you want to bridge the gap, and this is a question to anybody on the panel, but Madame Commissioner mentioned networks and how important networks are, which is very much in line with what OUISSAL does, right? And why everybody's here today. How can international networks like OUISSAL contribute to bridging the gap? Whoever wants to take this, but not all at the same time.
International, as we have said, that in order to succeed in this era, we need diversified team. Diversification is not only gender, it is not only competency, it is a culture. So when you have a diversified team, you have a power. You have a power of every person has his competitive edge. You collect all of that and you come out of a product, serve the society better in shorter time, more efficient time. So with the network, you are really encouraging that forum.
If you'd like to react or add to that, yes.
For me, connection is crucial because we can get financing from connections, customers from also the network, experience, learning. All these, I have access to these opportunities through connections and networks. So it's, for me, for my business, it was crucial.
Mm. Maybe I could add why it's also for Germany so important to have these international connections, especially also with women programs. I mentioned this fact that we have in Germany not enough women, especially in STEM. That is not everywhere the case. I think it's a specific German problem in some parts. So often, especially female engineers come from international backgrounds to collaborate and maybe with German companies, or who would start maybe a startup even in Germany, but with their international background. So I have one example, a woman who came to Germany when she was only 5, but who has this international background, who now started a company which is developing rovers for the moon. And she's going to the moon with NASA now. She's an engineer. But for a German woman, it's not a very typical career yet to be an engineer and then found a company. So these international backgrounds and connections can be very valuable also to overcome these cliches that maybe in Germany sometimes exist more than in other regions, where there more often women choose to go in this engineering or math or physics part. So this is also one part where this is very inspiring also to see women founders also from international backgrounds, especially in these fields.
It's interesting you say that. I traveled here from Saudi Arabia, and in the last 5 years, we've seen the first Saudi woman. I'm not Saudi myself, but we've seen Saudi and the advancement of women in Saudi just completely change, where women now are taking active roles in sciences and technology and government positions. And the first woman astronaut, finally, we saw it, first Saudi woman astronaut in the last 2 years. And when we got the chance to sit down and discuss this, I remember women said, well, now the sky is the limit. So if we can make it to the moon, and if we can make it into space, then I guess that's...
Make it everywhere.
You can make, yeah. In countries where you never would have thought it possible 20 years ago. Iqbal, I wanted to hear from you, just to add to that. Yeah.
Yes, I think inspiration is important because, like as you said, in this room, like every woman here and every man have their own capabilities, specialty and all. So inspiring each other and also partnering with each other, collaborating with each other, because there's also one thing that you don't know and the other person will know and will help you in that. So I think it's important.
And I think we heard that. Please.
As the initiator of the OUISSAL program more than 10 years ago, I would also like to answer this question, at least my personal conviction.
I was coming to you so we can finalize it.
It's what I can say. Already we have serial mentors here who apply every time that we have a new edition to be part of OUISSAL again. So it's not only one networking experience where we exchanged visiting cards, but it's really a long journey. And I'm very sure if anyone here of the OUISSAL cohort will have a question in 1 year, 2 years, will think about, there was a lady in Morocco or anywhere else, will say, well, we have been part in OUISSAL together. It will click and it will help, and we can rely on each other. And this is really something I'm very thankful and grateful of.
It's interesting because, Clara, you and I got a chance, and I wanna open the floor after this. You and I got a chance to discuss a little bit before the panel, and I remember asking you, when you think about OUISSAL and you think about the last 10 years, and we're talking about these industries where we don't see a lot of women, we want to see more women, startups and the new digital economy and rural and I want to get this right, agroeconomical sciences. Is there anything that stood out for you in what you've seen in the last 10 years when it comes to OUISSAL that you can share with us? I know, I didn't want to put you on the spot, but the lights are here.
I couldn't say one thing or one particular woman that has really been more special than the other. Every single one is one star in the universe that you have mentioned already before. What I really liked was last year when we went to Tunisia again. It was our first pilot country in 2012 that we went to Tunisia. And last year, our first mentoring cohort member, Martina, came to Tunisia again after 12 years to be a mentor again, and she met with her mentee. Her mentee was in the ecotourism sector. She only had a rough idea. Nothing was really planned. And now she is the leader of a big eco hotel area in the northern area of Tunisia. And she's also the head of Sustainable Construction Federation, I don't know what, in her country, and she's a mentor herself, and it was just, I saw them meeting again after 12 years for the first time. I think, Martina, I'm right? Yes. And it was just, yeah, it was lovely.
I want to thank all our panelists, and thank you again, Dr. Kriesman, for being here and for that keynote. I want to open the floor to your questions. Yes, one or two before we take the picture and our panelists run away.
And please, you can speak in any language you like. German, French, English is allowed.
And if it's okay, when you ask the question, if you can introduce yourself first, that would be great.
Okay, great. Hi, thank you so much for the beautiful panel discussion. So I just want to say a little bit of background because it's relevant. I'm 13 years in Germany. I did my master's, my PhD with the highest honors. I published in Nature, so I'm like your STEM person. And then, you know, I succeeded a lot, and for that, then I actually did that because of coaching. So I was severely depressed towards the end of the PhD. I was like, oh, it's not working. I tried everything. And then I came across coaching, and it literally shifted everything in my universe. And that's why I transitioned to own a coaching company, so which I do, and I'm very grateful. And I do that, you know, so Ms. Commissioner, it was amazing what you said. I just love being in Germany, and it's my second home now. And what I just want to say are two questions, really. I come from a migrant background, so I come essentially from Egypt. And I feel my experience is we have this passion as women, as from migrant backgrounds. And then I'm always working, or so it seems to me, I'm always working in silo. So, you know, I go to the Arbeitsamt, I asked, okay, what kind of support can I be getting? Oh, we don't know. And, you know, it's very hard to just grow in Germany with that background. So my question is, did you ever think, or are there any kinds of efforts that would help us maybe connect women more to the sources of information that you've said, so that when women grow and step up, they actually find, most often in my experience, what exhausted me most in the beginning as I was founding was really the lack of a safety network, like no safety whatsoever, you know? So it's just really just want to know, do you have this in mind? Because I feel like there's a huge bridge that we could create, you know, to Germany, to the world as migrant women. Thank you.
Let's take a second question, and then we wrap up. Is it fine?
No, please make it short so we can cover many questions as possible. Who's next? Okay.
Bonjour, ma question sera en français. Si vous permettez de mettre votre casque. Alors, je suis Hibariati, je suis la fondatrice de la société HKIS. Je suis une des mentées accompagnée par le programme OUISSAL. Je vous remercie énormément pour cette opportunité qui nous a vraiment aidés et qui nous a accompagnés. Ma question, c'est, en Allemagne, je ne sais pas si vous avez un fonds d'investissement dédié à la femme pour peut-être essayer de rattraper ce grand écart entre les fonds d'investissement, entre les investissements qui étaient dédiés aux entrepreneurs hommes, parce que quand même, il y a vraiment une grande différence. Cette équation, nous l'avons présentée et nous avons parlé de cette équation lors du Forum international de la femme entrepreneur en Tunisie. Et nous avons vraiment présenté ce projet qui a été voté par tout le monde et qui est resté en stand-by. Mais je pense que c'est ce qu'il faut pour aider la femme entrepreneur. Le financement reste le nerf de la guerre, reste un élément très important pour que la femme entrepreneur puisse développer son business, faire des certifications, recruter des talents, des compétences et penser à l'internationalisation. Voilà, merci.
More questions?
I think both questions were for Madame Commissioner, if I'm not mistaken. All right.
Okay, thank you so much for these questions. Both of them are very important and like linked directly to our daily work, basically, because these questions that you are posing is something that we discussed a lot, also at the ministry and among different stakeholders. So I'd say we are trying to go in both directions a little bit. Maybe we are not fully there already. But as I mentioned, like with this Exist Women program, we try to have this one focal point on the one hand for female founders, because this program has like a framework where you have regular meetings so that you can come, where you have like peers that you can exchange with. So that's the expectation that we have to the program, and we will have to see whether this will be realized, because it's like the first year that we are running the program. But that you then build your network where you can have all your questions, or many of them hopefully, answered. So that is one part where we try to make it easier. And then the other question is the migrant accelerator that I mentioned. That is this like one-stop shop, if you want to say so, for migrant founders, where you can come with all your questions that you have that are linked to a migrant background that you might have specifically because you have this background. So there we have also this kind of idea of this one-stop shop. And then we have also some networks around founding companies, digital hubs, etc. So would also should help. But I agree, it might always take a little energy to find out the right spot where to go. And I'm wondering whether it would be possible to have like this really one spot for everything. You have the difficulty that people have different questions, and it could be hard to have like this only one spot. But we are trying to get there more and more with having specific focused programs where you hopefully can find the answer to most of your questions. So that would be the answer to yours. But and congratulations, sounds amazing what you achieved. And the other question was a female fund, so a fund that only invests into women. That's how I understood it. We now decided to bring more women into the role of making the decisions in funds that already exist. So the funds wouldn't invest only in female founders, but to bring more women in, we can see, as I said in the statistics, that leads to more investments into female-founded companies. So you can see there is an impact. And then we have this network I mentioned, Encourage Ventures, but which is a private network, which we have in close exchange with and look where we can cooperate. And they only invest into mixed teams. Also not only in female founders, but also in companies who are founded by a team with women in the team. And I think this is important because when we want to see diversity, it makes sense also to invest in companies where you have women and men as well as founders, and often you have teams that found a company. So also there we are trying to get there. So far we are not planning a fund that is a public fund that is only investing in female founded companies. And I think there might be a risk that then someone, if that fund wouldn't be successful in the end, there might be the risk in saying, okay, you are not on the market, you are focusing too much just on this point. So we tried to do these other things up till now. But let's see how it works. And in the end, the goal has to be that we see more investments into female founder companies. Yeah.
Yes, no, thank you. Thank you for your questions. This wraps up our panel, so a round of applause for our panelists. I will just ask that we take 3 minutes for a picture.
Our suggestion is, because the sun is shining today and we will have our break right after, if I'm not mistaken, that we take the opportunity going out and having a sun-lighted picture.
Is it that rare to have sun in Berlin? Everybody, all morning, the sun is out. Well, we brought the sun, so give yourselves a round of applause. There you go. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Iqbal. Thank you, Dr. Fella. Thank you, Dr. Nadia. Thank you, Clara. All right, welcome back. Good to see everybody networking and chatting along. One last panel before our networking reception. This one is titled Shrinking Spaces, Countering the Global Pushback on Gender Equality. There's still music. Oh, half party, half panel. One sec. Thank you. How's everybody doing? One last panel before our networking reception. This one is titled Shrinking Spaces, Countering the Global Pushback on Gender Equality. I know gender equality is very special for and very such a relevant topic. I thought it was interesting that the commissioner mentioned that in Germany it's still there's quite an important gap. Definitely in the MENA region we see that, but we do see advances. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what our experts are going to say. So without further ado, we would like to welcome to the stage Director of Agency for Business and Economic Development, our partner, Susan Friedrich. Co-founder and publishing director of Mariana, San'a Al-Aji. Welcome to the stage. And founder of Smart Content, Marwa Al-Shami. Happens all the time. Just like we did in the previous session, I think we'll keep around 5 minutes for questions at the end of this session. Mrs. Susan Friedrich, I'd like to start with you. We saw you in the video, and you were talking about OUISSAL and how important it is, but also with what you do at the Agency for Business and Economic Development. I want to say it the German way. Can you tell me how we're saying it in the German way? AWE, which is, I'm butchering it, but how do you say it? It's AVE. AVE. You can just say agency, maybe it's easier, but it's AVE. I can say AVE. I can say AVE, yeah. In your experience, how can initiatives like those supported by AVE contribute to fostering gender equality, which is what our panel is about today?
First of all, I would like to say thank you for having me. It's really such a great experience to be together with so many inspiring and enthusiastic women here and high qualified women. This is, and it's so important to come together because we have seen, and many have stated it before already, that it's so important that we empower women because we still have a lot of disadvantages for girls and women in society, in business. And we have seen that in the past years, we even see a backlash against gender equality. And we can see it in social media, for example, that there is an anti-feminist narrative. We have seen that with the pandemic, spaces for women have shrinked. So more than ever, I think we are doing a good job if we really create these kind of opportunities, these networks and these programs to make sure that we can empower women and give them the right place in the society. And why OUISSAL especially is so important, I would say, is the special approach of OUISSAL is that we don't have a one-size-fits-all solution, but it's a program that really addresses the norms and capacities and opportunities that women face in different social and societal context. Yeah? And what we try to do with OUISSAL is really to take local circumstances into account, make tailored solutions for individuals. Yeah? Because one of the issues that are needed for women entrepreneurs, I think, is capacity building. This is another field that we are addressing with this program, offering workshops, for example, like on digital transformation. I've seen there's a lot of know-how here on IT in the room and in this group. So this is also a space where women are underrepresented. I think about 27% of jobs in the IT sector are only occupied by women, so there's a lot of room for growth. The other thing I would say is the intercultural exchange, because we have heard so many times today already that bringing different perspectives into a room is the best way to be innovative and to create new solutions. And this is what we want also in a more inclusive economy. So we can hopefully contribute to innovative business models here by promoting this kind of spaces.
Thank you for that. It's interesting, Marwa, I want to go to you with this question. Ms. Susan Friedrich was talking about how there was a anti-feminist narrative happening, and we've seen that happen. Given the diverse cultural, religious, and political landscapes, especially in the Middle East, how have you navigated the complex world of promoting gender equality through your digital platforms?
Okay. First of all, thank you for inviting me to such a great panel. Thank you for Emma team for all of the support gave in the past 10 months. Thank you. As for me, alhamdulillah, I am working in digital transformation. I have a platform specialized in education technology. Alhamdulillah, I feel like different because I feel like all of the society I'm surrounded is working in technology. So I feel like the opposite because alhamdulillah in Egypt, it's easy to find someone whom is working in education technology and in developing and so on. So I started this career 10 years ago, e-learning in track. So alhamdulillah in Egypt, especially, it's easy to find women whom can work from home in technology field. If she found something like a startup or company which will give her a decent salary and she will find something like a very good career for her. So it's she have the power and the knowledge is there to start her career in technology and in IT. So still there is challenges, but thankful, we thank technology and we thank online platforms which containing educational courses about programming and about software engineering and self-development. So nowadays it's easy to start in this career, and I feel like this career which is in technology is familiar to women rather than men, honestly speaking, because it needs some concentration and something like constructive mindset, and this is what defines ladies than men. So I feel like I always push all ladies or girls whom are just starting their career to focus on IT and to focus how to use technology to bring ideas to life. So yeah, this is my input. Yeah.
I love that. Concentration is a woman's skill. No offense to the gentlemen in this room, but no, first of all, I really love that you said that, because it's interesting to hear what Suzanne was saying and then hear that actually this has helped a lot of women, especially women with families and women who kind of want to have a work-life balance to be able to work from home, to be able to work in IT. So that's terrific to hear. Dr. Sana, you also are the co-founder of Mariana. And how does your platform contribute to promoting gender equality and empowering women?
Thank you so much. And if you permit me, before answering your action, I have participated to a lot of conferences in the past, but in French and in Arabic. It will be my first time in English. And I know it's not the main subject of OUISSAL, but it was my challenge in OUISSAL. And I am very glad to share this first step with you. But for this, I need to read my notes.
Go ahead. First panel in English.
Yes. Wow. First panel in English in my life.
This is my first panel in my life in English and Arabic.
Oh, look at that. And you're all here to witness this.
So I think that women must stay at home.
They must? I'm sorry, I was trying to...
It was my first joke in English. In general, when we speak about gender equality, we think of issues like equality in economic sphere, sexual harassment, violence against women, and those are important issues for sure, but it's not enough. So as a media dedicated to diversity and human rights, it's important for us to go deeper. Number one, promoting gender equality is a cross-cutting action. So we publish articles and videos about the issues related to gender equality, but even when the topic is not directly related to gender, we should include women as experts to provide more opportunities for women to showcase their expertise, to give them more visibility as experts, and to contribute diverse perspective. For example, last year, I saw a TV program in France, a developed country, with no women and 5 men experts speaking about menopause. It was in France. Number 2, we work on the language. In Arabic and in French, maybe less in English, we are told that the masculine form is supposed to represent both sexes. At Marayana, we work on language too to change this way of doing. For example, we use a neutral verb to speak to both men and women. And if it's not possible, we use both the feminine and the masculine forms. Also, for example, for menopause in Arabic, we say sinnul yas, the age of hopelessness. And it reflects a cultural bias. It's the way how both men and women look to women. When they are not able to give birth, they are in the age of hopelessness.
Let me ask you, because I want to challenge you on that for a second. How do you, so it's interesting that you say that, and obviously there's statistics that prove that. How do you challenge that thought?
Using another expression, which means menopause in Arabic, and sin inqita' ad-dawra ash-shahriyya. It's neutral. It's the age of the end of period, if we can translate it.
Yes, that is accurate.
For example, in Arabic, instead of saying zawaj al-qasirat, we say tazwij al-qasirat, because in the word zawaj, marriage, there is a sort of consentment. But when she is a child, she is not consentant. So it's important to work on the language. It's not only words we use.
Absolutely.
When I am saying I am in the age of hopelessness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another important example, if you allow me, in Arabic and in French, I don't know if it's the same in English, we say jara'im sharaf, honor crime, to legitimize violence and crime against women.
Honor crimes, yeah.
Yes, we have to call it in the right way, murder, crime of killing women, because speaking about honor is a way to give a cultural excuse to the murder. He was defending his honor. And one last important example for me, it will be the last for this first question. I took a small but important initiative for me 2 years ago. My name in my official papers is Sana Al-Aji, but 2 years ago I decided to become Sana Al-Aji Al-Hanafi, adding my mother's name too. Even if women are not forced to take their husbands, thank you. Even in the MENA region, the women are not forced to take their man's name. In our countries, many do it because they consider this like a social elevation. And in many Western countries, even free and independent women don't question this identity change after marriage. So I choose to take my mother's last name to give more visibility to women. And maybe some people will think this is a small action because the law will not change soon. But I believe that all the rights we have today, we can enjoy of them because one day, a man or a woman decided to take a small, symbolic action.
Impactful first English panel. Well done. Well done.
We remember this.
No, impactful. You will. Clara, I want to just come to you on this. Yeah, I think what's interesting. You've heard our panelists speak about countering this global pushback on gender equality, and I have to say, you know, when this came into my notes in my email, I was a bit surprised on the fact that you still have this global pushback that also Suzanne mentioned. The role of networks like OUISSAL, they've become more critical than ever. And my question to you is, how can these why do we see this pushback? Do you think there's a reason for it? And how are you with OUISSAL trying to challenge that?
This is very mean of you.
No, I mean,
warn me. I could.
And I want you to come in as well,
answer
please.
in a very lengthy way. I will try to give just some spots and to leave the space for discussion. This global pushback, we experience it in any discussions that we have. I will talk about OUISSAL in a minute, but I will also give one of my other volunteer occupations that I have. I'm the president of a German federation called Working Moms. And in this federation, I do a lot of gender politics together with very important 21 other organizations, female leading organizations, towards our federal government to say, everywhere we face challenges. Our federal government wanted to achieve gender equality until 2030. And we see now right-wing extremist parties rising in different federal states. Next year in Germany, we will have our federal elections, and we do not see gender equality coming until 2030. This is, of course, crystal clear, but it's so important on a national and international level to stick together, to exchange openly as we do today. If it's the first or the 100th time, it doesn't matter, but also to have different opinions on it and perspectives. It's really important to grow. And what I see at OUISSAL is we have, as you said, small things, but that can really grow and get bigger and bigger.
Would you like to add to that, please?
Well, I'm not an expert in for explaining societal changes, so I really would like to stick to the solutions. It's a kind of fear of losing things, and I think this is a general sensation we have in our societies. Yeah, that even if we are fine, still we are afraid of losing power, influence, or well-being. So this is what makes our society quite tense at the moment. But this is just my personal view taken from what I'm reading around. So I would like to stick more to what we are doing at AWE, at the Agency for Business and Economic Development, because OUISSAL is a very important program in our portfolio, but we can offer more services to women entrepreneurs. First of all, I would mention the advising services, because there are some programs in place that help companies who want to engage in the global south with sustainable business models to get support. And of course, this is a program that also addresses just transition, that addresses also companies that want to do something to empower women. For example, just one example from Kenya, to give you an idea, we are working with an impact investor, Alpha Mundi Group, and DEG to promote gender equality in SMEs by establishing gender equitable systems and by involving women in the decision-making processes in the companies. Yeah. Another example is that we promote, like OUISSAL, other networks and try to increase the visibility of women and business, women in business. We have a series which is called Women Business Breakfast. This is a very quite exclusive round of discussion for gender transformative approaches. We are going to discuss the next time in Nairobi, at the German African Business Summit. Then, of course, we have different programs that offer capacity building. One also has to do with digitalization. There's a virtual course for women entrepreneurs that is about current digital transformation topics. We also have another cooperation with the chambers abroad, the German chambers abroad, to help companies prevent violence against women, because there are studies, a lot of studies around that show that companies have financial losses when they don't support women and don't fight against gender-based violence. So communication has been mentioned. It's important, of course, an important way of promoting, giving visibility to women entrepreneurs, do portraits of women and show that they can be a very important role model for other women.
Thanks for that. I think it's interesting, Marwa, I want to come back to you because Suzanne mentioned women leading in digital, and you said it as well, that today, you see women in IT and in the digital sphere, and they're leading the way. In Egypt, and when you talk about education, I think education is a solution for a lot of this, right? Closing the gender gap, closing the gender equality, and you've made it your mission. How can you ensure that women and young girls have equal access to these educational tools, sometimes in the face of regional instability, it's not always the most stable there?
Alhamdulillah, successfully in the past maybe 5 years, there are programs specialized for ladies and girls in tech. So lots of launching and initiatives, the government and something like GIZ and lots of international organizations took this responsibility to support women and ladies and girls to conduct them several events for digital literacy, so they can just find a very good opportunity in the market, and also to work with their gadgets. So nowadays you can easily find something like grandma, for example, my mother, she is something like 65 years old, and she can work with her gadgets, with her smartphone, just by commenting and sending me messages via WhatsApp maybe every 3 minutes, something like that. But now, which means that women nowadays, yes, they can use the gadgets, and they can not only find opportunity in coding and developing and something like that, but also they can use the gadget to maybe Uber, make Uber appointment, or request something from the grocery or something like that. So it's not all about technology, to work in technology, but also to use the whole applications just to make their life easier. And as I mentioned, there is lots of initiatives, and honestly speaking, I'm looking for more. I'm looking for more initiatives about technology and sustainability, and how we can just develop more applications for sustainable life to make people's life easier. So we started, but we need just more steps, inshallah, in the route.
Is that where the future, is that where you feel the vision is going?
This is one of my visions in smart content, honestly speaking, is to spread more knowledge and to reach girls and ladies in rural cities in Egypt, because unfortunately we sometimes have a challenge when it comes to internet coverage. Because when we are speaking about internet and digital and so on, we need a strong internet coverage so we can just connect on the internet. So this is one of our challenges, but thank God there is nowadays some initiatives a lot يعني to empower all of rural cities with to strong the network and something like that.
When you say, sorry, and because it's curious, when you say there are a lot of initiatives to empower, which initiatives are you mentioning? From the government or from the
from international organizations and some from the government. As for me, honestly speaking, I got 9-month diploma in e-learning technologies 12 years ago, fully funded from the government. My study was in architecture, but then I just noticed that 12 years ago there is something called e-learning, and I was something like curious to know what is this, and I was zero knowledge in technology, and honestly speaking, I can't imagine that 12 years ago, after 12 years, and will be staying and speaking about technology. I was zero knowledge, honestly speaking, but I got support from the government and from communication ministry in Egypt. And honestly speaking, there is lots of opportunities, and astonishing, maybe more than 50% of the attendance and the students are ladies, which is very good.
No, makes sense. Thank you for that. Dr. Sana, what role do you believe your platform can play in countering misinformation? We keep talking about misinformation and promoting positive narratives around women's rights. We know the language, and the part of why communication is so important. And then I want to know, as a mentee in a program like OUISSAL, what insights have you gained on the importance of mentorship in the media and publishing industries? So split it the way you can with the notes.
Okay, thank you. I will start by the first question. Our platform is called Mariana. In English, it means our mirrors, because we want it to be a plural mirror to face misinformation. Our mission is also to democratize access to knowledge and to support critical thinking skills. Then the readers could make their own opinion. In our region, but also in several places in the world, and Suzanne spoke about this, gender equality has been demonized and presented as something negative, which will destroy the family values, for example. We believe that it is important to break down misconceptions about feminism, equality, but also all values of diversity, freedom, multiculturalism, etc. Platform like ours can help readers to present a new narrative of these values. But I think we don't need only positive narratives. Some negative narrative can help us to see the full face of the realities, the plural realities. By acknowledging challenges or uncomfortable truths, we gain a more complete understanding of the world. And I think we also need to build our own negative and to define misinformation, because sometimes the narrative in some Western medias looks to us in a way which doesn't sincerely represent our own reality, our narrative, and our own debates. To answer the second question about my outcome after OUISSAL,
yes.
We are a media dedicated to diversity, to gender equality, to human rights, and our mission is to provide in-depth analysis and several mirrors to our readers so that then they will be able to make their own opinion about diversity, about equality, about feminism. And thanks to OUISSAL, we were able to build this new position. In which way we are different from other medias? What is our added value as the media of diversity, human rights, and equality? And thanks to my work with my mentor, I changed my mindset.
Is your mentor here today?
She left this morning. She was there yesterday. She left this morning. She helps me to change my mindset. Before OUISSAL, I was in the mindset saying, we are an independent and serious media. Please, would you like to accept to support us? I moved to, we can bring great value, added value to each other. Let's build a strong partnership together. I went from, I beg your help, to let's do it together.
Nice. On that note, we want to open the floor to 2 questions, please. can we, if you can just introduce if you have any questions if everybody's hungry, I understand, but if you have questions for our speakers, please introduce yourself and let us know who your question is for. Can we get a mic to...
On the way.
Thank you.
They come to you.
Hello, my name is Nora. I'm one of the mentors from Germany. I'm joining from Mannheim, and I was a mentor in Morocco. My question would be dedicated to you, to the AWI, and how can you support in this kind of networks the allyship of successful men and successful other areas supporting these women? Because we are here now in a safe space for the women, but I think if we work together and have this allyship of others knowing how the business is run and help us to open doors, we can be successful and speed up.
Yeah, thank you for this really good question. And this is definitely something that we are discussing with Clara, how we can take this program to the next level. Because of course, one of the success factors for me would be to really make alliances with decision makers, with the scientists, with the different areas to really offer a bigger space to the participants of this program. And that's definitely what we had the good news from the minister at the beginning, that there will be additional funding in the future. So that is definitely something that we are discussing to make this happen. And maybe you want to add, Clara.
I would like to add, thank you, Nora, for this very important question. I'm a big fan of the hashtag #HeForShe of the United Women, and it's really important that gender equality is really promoted by everyone. And therefore, I can totally agree. We have a lot of men asking us, when does such a program come for us? We want this too. And the good news is we at the EMA, we have already several drafts for great #HeForShe, like allyship programs, and we even applied for one. Stay tuned. I don't know if the world is ready for this, but we are. And
can we get one more question for our audience? I know we just want to diversify. Is there anybody else who wants a question? I think everybody's hungry, is what it is. Oh, there is. We want to give a voice to everybody, but I think...
Hallo, mein Name ist Dunja Buchet. Ich komme aus Hamburg. Ich möchte erstmal die Organisatoren von dem Forum gratulieren für den erfolgreichen Tag. Ich habe eine kleine Ergänzung, und zwar zu der Nomenklatur Sin Elias, hoffnungsloses Alter. Das bedeutet ganz einfach, die Hoffnungslosigkeit zu gebären. In diesem Alter, die Frau kann keine Kinder mehr bekommen. Daher kommt diese Benennung. Mehr nicht. Alles klar. Danke.
So we had a contribution, we had just a precision in German about the menopause translation in Arabic. I'm sure that you will have a lot to talk about and to discuss about, because she said there could also be a softer meaning that is a little bit less aggressive than you think. But I leave this up to the two of you after the panel. And thank you so much for also congratulating us on the program.
I think a couple of things as we close this panel. A big round of applause to all our panelists, please. I think what's important to mention is that these are conversations that need to keep going. This is why networking is so important. This is why mentorship is so important, and connection is so important, which is where the OUISSAL name comes from. I think dialogues start in sometimes conferences like this, but they should continue beyond today. And I'm sure with mentorships like these and connections like these and initiatives like these,
there's a promising future, and we look forward to hearing more from everybody here. So thank you so much for sharing your stories and for being here. Really, very inspiring. One last thing, we're gonna close. I think what we want to say is that the reception is going to be across the hall on the left. They wanted me to tell you that so that you don't lose your way. And pictures, time for pictures.
Time for pictures, yes, sure, always.
And then Jamila.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Get off the stage.
It's almost over. It's almost over. All these months, and here it is.
So it's not really time to say goodbye, but time to see you again, as we learned today that OUISSAL is going to continue. We will have a celebration and a networking evening tonight. I'm very thankful for every single person that made it today here and that made this program and this forum a success, starting with you, my dear
Thank you
Yumna.
for having me. No.
I think we are a great Arab-German tandem too. But I would also like a big applause to the EMA team, who has really had great efforts bringing everyone here. It's really great working with you. Our translation, our technical team, catering, the venue. The co-organizers, and maybe a last sentence, because our federal minister, she has left, but she is also the one who shaped federal economic policy, which is really the reason why we can continue is that gender equality has really been fully integrated into the logic of not only her ministry, but our federal government on our levels. And I just want to highlight this again. It's really important that, we think on a very broad way about this approach.
To be continued.
To be continued. And now let's celebrate.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Shukran ktir. So usually we're a 5-piece band and it's really rocky, and today you get the very intimate version. And the last song we will play is our newest song that is not even recorded yet. And I wrote it when I was in Palestine in October, which was of course a devastating time, and it still is. And I'm really lucky that with FEMA we composed this version for you. This is Layla. Layla means night in Arabic. And just one last sentence maybe. The song is about the wish that everyone can sleep in safety at night.
Layla, 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 Layla. Layla, 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 Layla. And did you know our nights were long? Oh, waiting for a sign or two. My nightmares of bones, now reality is striking you. We came together late at night, 'cause we can't sleep while people die. We grieve and hold each other tight, singing songs all night, 'cause this is how we fight. Layla, 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 Layla. And yes, we all feel different pain, but the wound it's from still is the same. And resilience flows our veins, 'cause the root we share is not to tame. So we won't stop till we are free. Listen to me carefully. All should sleep in safety, not just you and me. Wake up, humanity. Layla, 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 Layla. And we thought we play you one more song that many of you, I think, know, Bint al-Shalabiya. So please join in and sing with us.
Achso, muss man ja.
وبنت الشلبية عيونها لوزية، بحبك من قلبي يا قلبي وانتي عينايا، بحبك من قلبي يا قلبي وانتي عينايا، حتى اللي ناطر محبوبي ناطر، كسر الخواطر يا ونفي مان عليا، كسر الخواطر يا ونفي مان عليا، بتعن بتروح ولا قلب مجروح، أيام عالبال بتعن وبتروح، أيام عالبال بتعن وبتروح، أيام عالبال بتعن وبتروح. Now you get some bass solo of Fema. وتغزل فيا، سمعني غناني يا عيوني وتغزل فيا، وبنت الشلبية عيونها لوزية، حبك من قلبي يا قلبي وانتي عينايا، حبك من قلبي يا قلبي وانتي عينايا، بتعن بتروح والقلب مجروح أيام عالبال بتعنو بتروح أيام عالبال بتعنو بتروح أيام عالبال بتعنو بتروح.
Yes, شكرا. يسلموا ايديك. Felix. Thank you also so much for organizing and all the wonderful energy that you brought in this room. If anyone is interested in our music, we have a band called Jamila and the Other Heroes. And we also got some vinyls and CDs here. Shukran.
Dinner time.